To introduce our 2014 Founders Award recipient, I actually asked Chad Kassem who he would select in the entire world. As it turns out, Chad chose Michael Fremer. So, we bring you the one and only stereophile guru of all things LP, the voice of reason for records, the one and only Michael Fremer.
Bob, thank you very much for inviting me here on Chad's behalf to say a few words about our guest of honor, Chad Kassem. These will not be kind words, because Bob requested a roast. He said, "Don't hold anything back, Michael," and so I won't. When I first met Chad back in 1988, he was selling used records out of a milk crate. It was an amazing and unforgettable encounter. Amazing and unforgettable because half of the records in the crate had been stolen the night before from my record collection. Chad's dad is a haberdasher, some of you know that, and like father, like son, if you sell your records to Chad, he will take you to the cleaners. Now, the story of Chad's success is right out of a Horatio Alger novel. When I mentioned Horatio to Chad, he said, "Hey man, I don't go that way. Don't start that with me." So, not that Chad's a prude. Chad is not a prude. If F-bombs could kill, we could send Chad to the Middle East, and in a day he would wipe out ISIS. I spent a few days with Chad in the UK, and last spring, after the Munich show. That's a real hi-fi show, Bob and Richards. And, oh, come on, it's just joking. He said nasty. So we went record shopping after the Munich, after we went to the UK, and we go into this used record store, and Chad goes, "Hey, you guys got blues records here? You all got some blues records for me, man?" And the guy said, "Oh, you're from Louisiana, aren't you? Hey, how did you guess, man? That's amazing. How did you tell I was from Louisiana?" Anyway, perhaps you know some of Chad's history, but I bet you don't know this part. This is amazing. I did a lot of research in order to come to you today and tell you about Chad, because a lot of what Chad's background is well known, but here's the part you didn't know. Chad Kassem is actually the unwanted son of the late radio top 40 DJ, Casey Kassem. Did you know that? And actually, Casey Kassem is how his name is really pronounced, but he changed it because it made it sound better. So now here's where the story really gets interesting. Casey Kassem placed the newborn Chad in a raft made of used clarinet reeds and set him adrift down the Mississippi River to New Orleans, where a Cajun woman named Proud Mary found him. This is true. It's amazing. Together with her haberdasher husband, Clarence Frogman Kershaw, they raised the child on a diet of crawfish etouffee and hummus, and they exposed him to the area's great musical heritage, which is important. At the age of 10, for reasons the young Kassem didn't understand, couldn't figure out, he began obsessively listing and counting down weekly his top 40 Crescent City songs and making dedications to imaginary listeners. And this was when young Chad became enamored of vinyl records. Isn't that right, Chad? When young Chad reached adolescence, the family moved to Lafayette Radio, Louisiana, where, to acquire money to buy records, an underage Chad went to work at the local Criterion loudspeaker factory, where he was put in charge of building crossover networks. He did a very good job. But unfortunately there, he acquired a nasty solder fume habit, and he was unable to shake it. Big problem. Years later, Chad was caught and arrested for selling nickel bags of high lead content rosin core solder. And he was arraigned before a judge, the late J. Gordon Pearson, who could have sent him to prison. But as luck would have it, the judge was an audio enthusiast. In exchange for a baker's dozen of the judge's favorite Al Hirt, Pete Fountain, and Wilbur de Paris records, which, as luck would have it, Chad happened to own because for some reason, hearing the clarinet just floated his boat. The judge gave Kassem a second chance, telling him to get the let out and travel as fast and far away from Lafayette Radio as he could, and to never return. If you come back, the judge warned Chad, I don't care if you return with 1,000 records for me. I don't care if you come back telling me you own a record pressing plant. I will throw you in jail. Kassem looked at a map and chose at random 2 possible places to move, either Seacliff, Long Island, or Santa Fe, New Mexico. It's amazing how that happened, but then, out of the corner of his eye, and his eyesight was not particularly good, he spotted in the middle of nowhere, the tiny town of Regina, Kansas. For some reason, the name appealed to him. In Regina, Chad felt, he would feel comfortable. He could make a home for himself in Regina. So off he went to Regina with literally nothing but the shirt on his back and, of course, underwear, pants and socks. When he got to Regina, Kansas, and discovered it was really Saliva, Kansas, he hid his disappointment. And in short order, after starting out as a short order cook, he hid it by becoming fabulously successful as a record mogul, selling used records, reissuing his favorite records mastered exclusively from the original analog tapes, and by producing all analog, his favorite still living blues artists. He became successful by becoming one of the first and among the most successful internet-based record and audio equipment dealers. He became successful by buying a desanctified church and converting it into a recording studio with amazing acoustics and loading it with the great gear, including a cutting lathe. And by becoming a blues festival concert promoter, where in the desanctified church, you are guaranteed to have a religious experience. If any of you have ever been to one of those concerts, it's unbelievable, it's amazing. One day, I think Chad's story, the real story, will be told in a movie, a made-for-TV movie, or at least a comic book, one of those 3. So, seriously, with all kidding aside, we are really lucky, as David said, to have Chad Kassem in this crazy business, especially those of us who share his vinyl passion. You know, during the great record famine of the 80s and the 90s, Chad Kassem kept us all well fed with both new and reissued vinyl done the right way. He insists on master tapes and where they exist, and he does not take no for an answer. When the record company says no, or we don't have that tape, or it doesn't exist, he goes back and he shows them some more cash, and guess what happens? The tape shows up. It's amazing how that happens. For Chad, cost is not the object. The object is the best sounding, best pressed, and best packaged records, regardless of cost. And that's not hyperbole, because that's what Chad delivers every time. So I'm really sincerely honored that Chad asked me to present him, to introduce him for his honor that is so well deserved, and to poke a little bit of fun at him. And I let him off easy, believe me. I had written this. You don't want to know. Anyway, so I hope I didn't offend any of you too much, and if I did, well, I don't really care. So I'm telling your friends. So thank you very much, and now let's present Chad with his award. Bob will do it. And thank you very much, Bob. I'm working on my Bob next year. I think I'll have it down really, really good. It's still in work in progress.
I read now from the Founders Award, our highest honor, the Los Angeles and Orange County Audio Society 21st Anniversary Founders Award for extraordinary contributions to fine audio and audiophiles worldwide, December 7, 2014, presented to Chad Kassem.
Wow, I was a little bit nervous about Michael, because he's everybody knows him. He could no telling where he was gonna go. But but I was impressed with like the top 40 of the Louisiana music picking. It was anyway. I liked it. So I'm honored to receive this award. It's really amazing to be here, and I mean, Cajun boy and LA and all this fancy stuff. It's and I want to thank some people. First of all, I want to thank Bob Levi and the LA Orange County Audio Society. I think they're doing a terrific job. I mean, it's really awesome to, you know, I'm very impressed with Bob, his ability to, you know, his marketing ability. I mean, it's pretty awesome what he's done and how he's done it, and to get this many people together. The other thing that's really made my day is, you know, reference recordings, sponsoring Doug McLeod to play. Press their records, and we've had Doug come to play at our blues festival many times, and that won't stop. You know, one thing I say about Doug, I mean, his music touches everybody. All blues guys that I've met have been nice. I mean, just the greatest guys, but Doug McLeod would have to be at the top of that list. He's just so sincere and so nice, and, you know, fun to be around, and he's a great MC. You know, I just wish I could speak half as good as he can in front of an audience, because he really, he's the best. I also want to thank our customers, the Acoustic Sounds, and our super high-res team. I'm really happy my dad came. Maybe some of you don't know, we started a pressing plant called Quality Record Pressings. And, you know, Gary Sahlstrom, I'd like to thank him for helping us with that, or running it, because, you know, I have to admit, and Gary's sitting back there with my father. And, you know, without Gary, I would really have a bunch of steel in a corner, you know, a bunch of ugly, twisted, you know, bent up scraps of iron. And Gary and another guy, Mark Huggett, put it together, and we're making some pretty good records. I mean, if they make Michael Fremer happy and Dave Robinson, then I think we're doing all right. I want to thank Michael Fremer. He's the #1 guy that, you know, while everybody was running from vinyl, jumping on CDs, he stood up for vinyl the whole time, and now everybody's running back and jumping back in, and you know, we'll accept him. I mean, we won't. They, you know, oh, we've been vinyl the whole time. Yeah, sure you were, pal. You're the first son of a gun I saw running when CDs came out. But we'll take them back. But I know that Fremer has been the biggest cheerleader since those days, and
You can see me in a skirt. It's pretty damn nice.
and I like to feel I was with him through those thick and thin times. And you know, it's just amazing what, you know, where it's come and how it's going. I mean, I can't say that I ever, like I say a lot, is I knew vinyl would never die, but I didn't know CDs would die so hard. You know, I didn't see that coming, and I didn't know that. I can't say that I ever thought vinyl would get to the point it's at, but I knew it would never die. I mean, you just have to trust your ears. And so anyway, thanks to everybody, and we appreciate, you know, all the support. Every time somebody buys something from Acoustic Sounds, we just reinvest it. You know, every time we just try to keep improving the quality of audio. You know, we're just trying to make products we'd like to buy or like to own, and we're trying to present, you know, y'all's favorite records and my favorite records as good as you've ever heard them. You know, that's really the goal. It's pretty simple. Just try to get them to sound better than they've ever sound. Try to improve it better than the original in every way. And whenever you buy one of our products, you know, we just keep investing in new presses or new press technology or things like that. And so I'd just like to share a few things that we have common that maybe some people don't know about. I mean, I think people know about the Beach Boys, that we're doing 14 different Beach Boys albums. They're coming and like right before the end of the year, or right at the beginning of the year. And I'd like to thank Ben Williams for, he did two videos on the process of making the Beach Boys with Kevin Gray. Went to Kevin Gray's mastering facility, filmed him mastering Surf's Up, and then he went to Stoughton Record Printing to watch how, you know, the jackets are made. So we're gonna do, there's gonna be a three-part video on mastering, the jackets, the pressing, the assembly, the printing, everything, and that'll come on our web soon. But the other things that we haven't told anybody about is we're going to be doing the first 4 Blood, Sweat, and Tears in a box set, and we're going to do the first 3 Santana albums in a box set. We're doing, this is a lot closer, Dean Martin, Dream with Dean, and I mean, and Danny Kaye, I'd like to thank him for recommending this title. Normally, so many people ask you about a particular title and you can't remember who suggested it, or you already knew about it, so you can't really remember, you know, who to give credit to, or you take it, you know, you figure you take the credit yourself or whatever. But that happens in other areas too, other than reissuing records. Probably when you own a company, you know, your employees give you a lot of good ideas. But Danny was the one that I would have never thought of Dean Martin, and it really, it's unbelievable. I mean, he is in the room with you. You just won't believe it. I mean, you know, the Nat King Cole stuff we did is unbelievable, but I'd say that it'd be hard to say this Dean Martin's better, but boy, it may just be. It's unbelievable. And we're also doing another Nina Simone, oh, not another one, Nina Simone, Little Girl Blue, which is incredible. And
thank you.
Yeah, and she's unbelievable. You know, when you listen to her and then you listen to Joan Armatrading, and you see who got what and where, and she was listening to the right people.
It is my honor to make you a lifetime member of the society with all the rights and privileges thereof. Congratulations.